Thank you. Kindly be seated. Education and learning are the cornerstones of personal growth and societal progress. DAKSH is an annual education and career guidance fair hosted by the Student Council, Christ deemed to be university. It focuses on the various opportunities made available to pre-university, undergraduate, and postgraduate students. DAKSH is here to guide students to acquire knowledge and make informed choices regarding their higher education and careers. Through active participation in the stalls, dialogues with eminent speakers from various disciplines, as well as personalized career counseling sessions, students will be able to learn about various vocations and fields of study they could pursue. On that note, we welcome you to DAKSH 2024, the annual flagship event of Christ deemed to be university. I, Pranay Agarwal, will be your MC for the day. To be an activist is to speak, to be an advocate is to listen. Society can't move forward without both. Please join me in welcoming our guest for this session, Mr. Varun Shukla. We would also like to welcome Dr. Pritha Biswas for giving a token of thanks for your presence today. Our gift hamper is sponsored by Bistro Claytopia, India's first concept cafe. Bistro Claytopia is the melting pot of people from various cultures who share a common passion of blending art with food. At Bistro, they strive to give the best possible experience to all their customers. They are committed to quality, value, and your complete satisfaction. Mr. Varun Shukla is a Senior Vice President at HSBC India, responsible for driving digital transformation, cost control, risk management, improving customer experience, and executing target generating models across the different markets. Mr. Varun is a passionate advocate for continuous learning and development and is a certified project management agile certified practitioner and has completed certificates in digital transformation and business analytics and digital media from the Indian School of Business. I request our speaker for the day, Mr. Varun Shukla, to please come up to the stage to enlighten us.
Hi, good morning, Prastites. Okay, so I'll be talking about careers in wealth management and insurance. So I'll give you a brief about myself. So I've been with the industry for 28 years now. Out of that, 18 years with HSBC. I've done diverse roles, including operations, business development, strategy planning, and business management kind of activities as part of my career there. So based on that, I currently manage the wealth management and insurance teams across Kolkata, Hyderabad, Vizag, and Bangalore, which includes a private bank and insurance team as well. So that's a bit of a background about me. And then, of course, we'll talk about, well, I'll kind of, yeah, can you increase the thing full screen? Oh, fine. No worries, I can do that. Okay, so we'll talk about some of these in terms of what is wealth management, right? I'll give you a bit of overview about the um, wealth management industry in India. We'll talk about some of the products, what we kind of service, types of roles which are there in the industry, what kind of qualifications which are required to get into those roles. And of course, we'll try and have some Q&A so that in case you have any queries, then you can ask me. Okay, all right. So first of all, what is wealth management, right? So wealth management, of course, is a form of advisory service, financial advisory services. So you know why it's very important to have financial planning. Without financial planning, we will not be able to succeed or manage our finances better as part of our, aspirations to meet certain goals. So it's very important that we get into the financial planning as soon as you start working. But a lot of the high net worth individuals who are having a lot of funds, they of course opt for financial management services, which are very important for them to kind of get better returns, right? So they opt for wealth management. They try and understand how they can meet their objectives as part of the financial journey what they have. So as part of that, they will opt for wealth advisors to provide them guidance in terms of where to invest, how much to invest based on their risk appetite and everything. So the wealth advisors will be able to guide them accordingly. So wealth management takes care of the journey of the financial journey of customers or individuals who are interested in getting the wealth growing from maybe A to whatever they expect, right? So as part of that, of course, they will look at getting those investments done. So as part of investments, you have different products which we'll talk about. But as part of wealth management, they will also look at investments. They will look at your investments, insurance needs. They'll look at your banking needs. They will look at your financial objectives, and then accordingly try and guide you to meet those goals. So, as part of the wealth management, we do kind of the front offices will offer customized plans for the customers to accept, to make them understand what their goals are and how they can meet them. Like, for example, someone wants to kind of buy a house when they are 35 years of age, how they can plan to invest and meet that financial goal of buying that house, or if you want to buy a car, or if you want to kind of go and study abroad, okay, or if people have kids who want to study abroad, how they can meet those financial goals. So the wealth advisors will be able to guide them accordingly, saying that if you invest in a certain manner, certain fashion, you will be able to kind of get a better return, and based on that you will be able to meet those financial goals. So that is where they will be advising the customers to meet that goal. Uh, any questions on what wealth management is before I move on to the next slide? Okay. All right. Now we'll talk about wealth management as an industry and what is the growth trajectory for wealth management in India. So as you know, and I'm not too sure because I know that you are mostly BCom, BBA maybe students. So based on that, you might be being aware of the stock market. And in India, stock market plays a very important role, right? It kind of helps us understand how the economy is growing and how we are able to kind of get the benefit of the investments coming in from the different foreign investors as well. So in the last decade, there has been a tremendous growth for India. As you know, the Indian economy is one of the most growing economy right now. We are supposed to be number three by 2030, in terms of our economy. So that is a great news for us and for you all, because you are the future of the country and you'll be playing your part in driving that economy as well, right? Our GDP is supposed to kind of, as I said, will grow up to the third in the world by 2030. Boston Consultancy Group projects that the Indian financial wealth would reach $5.5 trillion by next year, 2025. So that's a great news for you all because, as I said, India is a very young economy. That means that there's a lot of young population in India compared to the other markets. So when you have a young population in the country, then the growth, of course, gets expedited, right? It kind of gets increased faster, and that is what we are seeing as part of the Indian growth story right now. The sector has seen increased investments from foreign investors who are attracted by the growing Indian economy. And I'm sure you can see India is in news for multiple reasons, from launching satellites to going to Mars, going to the moon. So from that perspective, definitely India is kind of in the limelight for multiple reasons, and that is also helping getting a lot of foreign investors coming to India. So that is something which will help us drive the investments. It will also help us drive the technology, right? Because a lot of companies are kind of looking at the talent, what is there in India, from IT sector to car making now, to now getting into phones. So, even Apple and all, they are trying to set up some shop in India to kind of help manufacture their phones. So all that will drive the wealth into the country, because as soon as those companies come in, what will happen is that people will start getting employments. If they get employments, they'll get better salary, their lifestyle will change. And if their lifestyle changes, of course, they will have to kind of look at financial planning. They have to look at how they can manage wealth for the future. And that is what it'll kind of drive the wealth management business. Uh, I will talk about some of the product overviews which are there. So, uh, and I understand that, which is great to hear that you all are already doing some kind of courses in terms of investment banking and everything. So, which is great because you'll be able to relate to that. So, in terms of products, we do have mutual funds. And I'm sure you are already aware of what mutual fund is. So mutual funds are basically a portfolio of stocks which are there, which are kind of managed by fund managers who will invest your money into those stocks, right? Or the mutual funds. So basically, if today you want to kind of buy an Apple share, as an example, you will have to buy equity. That means you can only buy into an Apple share and then your money is locked there. But if you invest through a mutual fund and you look at your top, uh, and based on the thematics which are there, if you want to invest in a technology sector, then maybe in the top 10 you'll have these companies who are there. So for example, in India, if I give the Indian context, you have Infosys, you have TCS, you have Wipro, those big companies are there. So what will happen is that instead of getting your money blocked into only Infosys or a TCS, it'll invest in all those 10 companies on behalf of you, so that you are able to get a better diverse portfolio and the investments. So mutual fund is basically related to that. Of course, equities is related to stock market. So what happens in the equity market is that either you buy directly from the company whenever they take out an IPO or the initial public offer, where companies will offer their shares in the market and you can go and purchase that from the market, or you are able to go and buy from the secondary market. So primary market is where you go and buy from the companies as and when they get their IPOs out. But in case you're interested in the secondary market, you can go and buy from the market. So you can go through Zerodha or some other company, get in demat account, and then you are able to kind of do your investments. So that takes care of the equities. Bonds is another debt-related product which is there. So bonds are corporate bonds and government bonds which are there, right? And bonds are slightly safer compared to mutual fund or equity in terms of the risk appetite if people have. So in terms of bonds, there is a fixed interest which is there, or it's called a coupon payment which is there. So what happens is that, for example, today you are looking at getting a 6% interest as part of whatever investments you are doing. So you can invest in these corporate or government bonds which are given by these companies, and then you can get a fixed amount of return which you can get from the market. Of course, the returns will be low because these are more secured compared to a equity or a mutual fund. Okay, they are not able to hear. Sorry. Okay, so I hope you were able to hear regarding what bonds are. Bonds, as I said, it's more secured compared to equity or a mutual fund, where um, you know, your uh, your investments might go up and down based on the market conditions. Then there is a product called derivatives, which are there. It's basically where people can kind of get customized investments, and they can ask that I want to kind of invest on certain customized plans. And you can also invest saying that the market will go up or go down, and based on that, you can put in a derivative saying that if the markets go down, I need this kind of return. If the markets go up, I need this kind of return. So derivatives is the other product, which is something which we customize and offer to the customers. And then within the insurance world, there is different kind of insurances which are there. There is a term life insurance, which basically takes care of your, risk in terms of God forbid, in case something happens to you, then of course your family will get the benefit of the financial security. Then you have home insurance, which takes care of your home. In case something happens, then the home is insured. Then you have your auto insurance, which takes care of your car or a bike in terms of in case you want to kind of protect that. And then of course there are some customized insurance policies as well. So those are the kind of products or products what is offered by us. And then what we do is we try and customize as per the customer's requirement, right? So if a customer has a financial objective or a goal which they are trying to meet, then we'll try and guide them and tell them that this is the way you should try and invest your money. You need to kind of look at and also based on the risk appetite, right? So the younger you are, your risk appetite should be higher because you can try and take more risk in terms of financials. But the older you get, like me, then you have to kind of try and ensure that you are looking at slightly low risk compared to a high risk. So you have to try and get away from equities and try and balance it out and diversify your portfolio by investing more in terms of mutual fund. Sorry, mutual funds is still less risky, and you can invest in fixed deposits and bonds and all those kind of products. Okay. Any questions in terms of products? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, now we'll kind of move into the kind of roles which are there in the industry. Of course, if you have any questions, more details I can provide you, but I've kind of put it slightly more generic and high level in terms of what kind of roles are available based on the segments what we have. So we have something called front office. Okay, so front office is basically branches. For banks, of course, it's branches. So you go to a branch, you will kind of speak to a relationship manager based on what you want to kind of achieve in terms of financial objectives. The relationship manager will kind of help you connect with the wealth advisor, who will be able to map your journey based on the risk appetite, as I mentioned, right? So they'll be able to tell you that based on your age, based on your risk appetite, how you can plan your investments for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. You will have to kind of give them some inputs, and based on that, they'll be able to guide you. So in the front office, there are relationship manager roles which are there, which basically kind of interacts with the customer, understands their requirement, and then accordingly will be able to guide them regarding their financial goals in terms of how they can meet them. They will do this along with the inputs from the wealth advisors. So the wealth advisors are people who are certified. Not everyone can give advice. You have to, in India, you have to get a certification to be able to give advice. Okay, so you have to be a financial planner or advisor. So based on that, you will be able to give advice in terms of how you can invest in certain products and services, because there is a risk related to what you are investing based on what guidance you are getting. So front office roles will be basically wealth advisors, your relationship managers. Then there are roles like tellers who are there. So I don't know now with the UPI and everything on the phone. I don't know how many of you go to branches. Have you been to a branch recently? Okay, all right. So now, of course, banking is in the fingertips. Okay, the traditional way to bank used to be you go to a branch, then you speak to the relationship manager, and they are able to guide you. They can help you open an account and all that stuff. But now with the new age of banking, what we are also offering, you don't need to go to a bank, to be honest. You can just do everything online. But anytime you need to go to the bank to try and get some guidance, then of course you will have to visit a branch. But nowadays that also has got reduced. We do kind of and not only we, a lot of other companies do offer video calls and Zoom calls and everything, where they will be able to kind of give you that guidance on the virtual world as well. So tellers, the reason I'm mentioning is that tellers are people who used to kind of count cash and give you once you go to a branch and ask them to withdraw some money, or in case you want to put some money into your account, then you will have to go to the counter, give the money, and then they will be able to kind of put that into your account. Then there are branch admin support staff who is there, who will basically support the relationship managers to kind of do all the paperwork and everything, and then that will kind of get processed in the back office. Okay. Then there are middle office roles which are there. In the middle office roles, there are multitude of roles, to be honest, based on what you want to achieve. So people can get into research, people can get into analytics, people can get into trading. So there are those kind of roles as well. And also there is a middle office operations team as well. Okay, so what the middle office operations team will do in most countries, because again, I'm talking about HSBC and other multinational banks. So what happens that they will take the request from the customer. So the request comes from the front office to the middle office for some requirements to kind of check certain parameters and all. Then it will go into a back office team, which is basically teams which is managed in either in India or Philippines, as an example, or in China. So the request will come in there, and then they are going to process the request. For example, if you need to open an account, then the account opening process will be kind of done either online or through the branches. And then accordingly, it will come to the middle office to kind of do some checks if there is a requirement. Then it will come to the back office to finally open your account and ensure that you are able to then start banking or trading, based on the requirement which is there. So those are the kind of roles. Of course, there are also roles called for product managers. So if you are interested in creating a product, customizing a product which you want to launch as part of the business, then of course you can kind of get into. But again, those are specialized certifications what you have to get. So you can get into product management as well. You can get into risk management as well, where basically you will also look at, okay, should I onboard this customer? Yes, no. If there is a risk related to that customer, then you will not get the approval to onboard that customer. You will also be able to try and check regarding the credit worthiness of the customers as well, in case you want to give any loan to the customer. So you have to have credits team who are going to check that should I give a specific amount. So for example, a customer says, I want 10 lakhs in terms of loan. You'll have to check the credit worthy of the customer to see that can you give them the loan of 10 lakhs? Yes, no. Okay. So there are credit teams, there are risk teams, there are legal compliance, product manager teams who are part of the middle office segment to help support the requirements. And then finally, we come to back office. Within the back office, we do have multiple teams. We will have customer service teams who will kind of take your request and then process the transactions which are there. So all the transactions are processed in the back office, and they will open the account. In case you have a change of address, they'll kind of do those change of address and everything in the back end, and then your changes will get updated. Uh, there are also different, kind of grades which are there as part of the role. So you start off with a customer service, but you can, grow higher. Like for example, when I joined HSBC, I joined as a GCB6 or at a manager level 18 years back. So today, of course, I head the operations for the teams in India for wealth management, private bank, and insurance, as I mentioned. So there is no limit to what you can do or what you can achieve if you kind of put hard work, and plus, of course, you have to try and ensure that you are contributing to the organization. So you can join at a GCB8, which is the entry level, and then accordingly, kind of scale up, gain experience, and then kind of grow in the organization as well. And this is common to all the organizations or in the same industry, right? So you can start off at entry level and then kind of grow and grow up the ladder as well. So those are the kind of roles which are there. So within the back office, you start at a customer service executive, and then you can grow as a head of operations if you want to, based on the tenure and experience what you have been able to gain. Uh, Let me, sorry. Okay, I'll go into the general qualifications as well. So in terms of front office, depending on the roles what you want to get into, minimum requirement is a graduate. Okay. However, in case you have done an MBA in sales and marketing, if you want to get into sales, then definitely that will be beneficial because you will require that kind of expertise to be able to generate revenue for the organization, right? So if you're interested in sales, then go for MBA in sales and marketing. If you're interested in customer service and all, then of course you can complete your graduation MBA and then get into customer service or relationship manager kind of role. And if you want to get into wealth advisor roles, then of course you have to do your certified financial planner kind of certification so that you are able to provide advisory kind of services which are there. In the middle office, again, a variety of skills are required. You can get into specialized product manager roles which are there. You can get into specialized risk certification roles if you want to get into risk management kind of activities, or if you want to get into compliance, then of course you can do that as well. So those are the kind of roles or the qualification what you need to kind of look at. In the back office, minimum requirements are graduates, and then based on that, again you can get an MBA done as well. If you do MBA, then definitely your career progression in the long term will be beneficial because you will be able to use those learnings and skills to try and move up the ladder in the organization as well. So those are the kind of general qualifications which are there as part of the requirement what we have in the organization. Okay, I just wanted to kind of check the time, but and I'm happy to open to any questions you might have. Yes. So derivatives is customized products which are there. So it's basically based on what the customer wants. So if, for example, the customer wants to kind of take a bid saying that, I want to invest in a portfolio of shares, and I want to kind of say that this, if it goes by 5%, then I'm happy to kind of, invest in that and I'll kind of buy the entire thing. And if it goes down by another 5%, then I'll not take the risk. So they'll take a call option and they will kind of decide that what is their threshold risk appetite. Based on that, they can do the trading. Okay, so based on that, we will get customized. So you can derivatives you can do in anything. You can also do a derivative, as I said, on the stock market, saying that in the next 1 year, you'll then have to put it for 1 year, saying that the stock market will go by 10 points. Okay, if the stock market goes by 10 points up, then you get the benefit of whatever you have invested based on whatever threshold we have achieved. Or it'll kind of if in case you're not able to achieve that, then of course, so it's kind of I wouldn't say gambling, but there is a kind of risk taking which is there, which is high in terms of derivatives, because the product is something which is customized based on the customer's request. So there is a slightly increased risk which is there. So hence you have to do a lot of research in terms of what you want to do to kind of invest in that product. Yeah. Um, so as I said, there's customized products, so I don't want to get into all of that, but it is a high risk product. But in case you do invest well and you have done all the research, a lot of times the benefits are also very high. Okay. What else? Hi.
So in a lot of banks, they have a lot of horizontal movement between verticals. So for example, if someone got a job in the front office, a
Yes.
lot of times the banks do shift people into the back office or into operations, for example. What's the mentality behind that decision making?
Okay, so I would slightly tell you differently, because it's not that the banks shift you. Okay, it depends on what is your career plan, and based on that you can move. Okay, so for example, if you have joined a front office, Okay, unless you have an example, then let me know. But if you have joined a front office, generally, except if you join maybe Indian bank, where they are transfers, right? A lot of the other banks, they don't have transfers per se, from one front office to back office. It is your choice. So if you have done a few years in the front office, now you want to kind of get into a middle office or a back office, then of course you have the choice to kind of apply for those roles and then get into that. Okay, at least within HSBC, I can say that we kind of encourage people to have variety of experience because it's a very diverse organization. So if you are interested in moving from a front office to a middle office to a back office, depending on the skills what you have been able to acquire, we will have advertisements or IJPs, internal job postings which are there, and based on that, people can apply for those roles, right? So I wouldn't be able to comment for the other organizations generally, because in most organizations, what I am aware, at least the multinational banks, uh, you can apply for the roles what you are interested in. But in Indian banks, generally, they might have a transfer system. So where they will tell you to transfer from one area to the other area, from one city to the other city. But here, you have the control within your hands. You can choose what you want to do, which city you want to go to, and what departments you want to join. So you can choose that. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, sir, for such an informative session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My question was, can you please elaborate on the current trends and dynamics that in insurance and in wealth management that an individual should be aware of
Mhm.
to succeed in their career?
Yeah. So wealth management currently, as I mentioned, based on the trends, what we are seeing, it is a growing market. Year on year, we are seeing a 10% increase in that market because, especially in India, because of the uh, income generation which is happening. A lot of young population are getting into the job market. They are kind of buying or investing, buying cars, getting into mortgages, getting into buying houses and all that stuff. So definitely there is a lot of positive outlook for wealth management in India. Now, what I would suggest is that you need to kind of try and understand what you want to do in terms of wealth management. So if you're looking from the investment perspective, then of course you will have to kind of look at what you want to invest in, and the stock market or the mutual fund market. I think this mutual fund is much more safer than a stock. To be honest, for young people like you can start off with that. If you want to take a risk of stock as well, little bit of money you can kind of invest in that as well, but you have to look at those splits. So basically, what generally we say, based on your age, you should look at maybe 70%. If you are younger, 70%, maybe you can look into your equities, and 30% in debt and other products which are there. But as I said, as you kind of get older, then you should look at reducing your equity exposure and get into more of debt and fixed deposits and all that stuff. But in terms of the market, in terms of the growth, definitely it's very high. There are a lot of companies in India who have opened up back offices to support their kind of footprint across the world. You so from that perspective, definitely the kind of qualifications what you are kind of completing right now in Christ, in terms of getting into investment banking, then I know some of you are getting into CPA or CA and all those. Definitely, those are the skills which will help you get into these organizations and be able to kind of succeed. So if you do a CA and get into a company, then of course you will start at a slightly higher level. But if you are just doing a graduation and then getting into the companies like this, then you will start at an entry level, right? But for CA, definitely you will start at a higher level. If you have done any other certification like product manager and all, then again you will start at a higher level. But the entry level roles will be basically, if you do just your graduation, then you'll be able to get into the entry level roles. Yeah, but there is a lot of potential. Insurance is another booming market which is there, because again, a lot of people are kind of getting into the job market. So based on that, of course, you will have to get insurance, because the cost of everything is increasing, including your medical insurance, right? So if you don't get an insurance, then of course you will have to end up paying your medical expenses from your pocket. So based on the cost of medical which is increasing, it is very important to get a medical insurance done. It's always good to kind of have life insurance, because it provides a safety net for your family. So when you are starting a job, then of course the company will give you a insurance policy. They'll give you a life insurance policy. They'll give you a medical insurance policy as part of the benefits what the organizations do provide you. But also it's important that you try and have something over and above that, which will cover you in case of any exigencies which are there. Yep. Thank you. Hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
So my question to you, in terms of career advancement and leadership, what do you think are the prime characteristics that
Mhm.
successful individuals in this industry typically possess?
Okay, very good question. So you need to kind of be able to work with multiple people, right? Because it's all about being contributing as a team. So when you start off, of course, you'll have your peers, your colleagues who are there who will be working with you, and if you're able to kind of be able to support them as soon as you are settled. So in this, I'll talk about back office, because I manage the back office. So in back office, of course, you do have people, coming, joining the teams, and then of course you might have attrition because people are moving from one department to the other department. So for example, today you have learned the process well, right? And then a new joiner comes in. If you're able to kind of support that new joiner by training and everything, you will of course stand out that, okay, you are the go-to person who can kind of guide and train other colleagues. And that way you'll be able to progress. So then you can progress as a SME, then as a team leader, then as a post the team leader, you can also move to a manager level, and then post a manager level you can move into a AVP level. So as an individual contributor, you will be just managing your work. But as soon as you get into the people management role, you will be able to kind of then manage people. And to be successful in this industry, or any industry for that matter, to be honest, you have to have people management skills. That is very important. You have to display leadership skills, which are very important, right? Because people need to kind of be able to, kind of work based on whatever you are able to guide them. You have to kind of have proper good listening to trying to understand the issues and challenges which are there, because if you are not listening to what issues and challenges are there, then of course people will not be contributing much as well. So for them to be motivated, you have to listen to them, you have to try and understand their challenges, concerns, and then as soon as you're able to kind of help and support them, then of course you will be able to succeed faster. And within a lot of the organization, including us, we don't look at tenure. Okay, so for example, you might have someone who's young and who has joined the organization and has grown in the organization faster than someone who's been in the organization for 10-15 years but have not grown as fast as others. So it is an equal opportunity organization, and they will look at based on how you have been able to navigate through the roles and requirements, and how you have been able to contribute and play your part. And that is the way you will be able to succeed. And this is not only for our industry, this is common for any kind of industry today. You have to kind of manage people. In case you're managing people, then you have to kind of look at that. And of course the other element is risk. You have to have an eye for details. You have to be open to understanding the risk which is there within your work what you do, because if you don't manage the risk in the areas what you are supporting, then there will be a customer impact, might be a regulatory impact. So it's very important that you understand your processes well, and then you are able to mitigate the risk by looking at identifying the pain points, looking at solutions, and of course you'll get all the required support, so that is not a problem. But that is the way you'll be able to navigate and progress well in these kind of organizations. Hi.
So, what advice do you have for individuals who are looking for transition from other areas of finance to insurance and wealth management?
They are transitioning from other investment banks to.
Other areas of finance to insurance and wealth management.
Okay, see, finance is a different ball game, right? So it all depends on your career aspirations. So if you are into pure finance, then of course this part of the world is going to be slightly difficult, because this is more operational, right? Finance is more in terms of looking at managing either reporting or looking at your profit and loss, P&L accounts and all that stuff, depending on what kind of finance area you are getting into. But if you have a knowledge of finance, it does help if you want to get into operations as well, because you can correlate, and there is interdependency in terms of the skill and knowledge which is there. But what I would say is that it all depends on what you want to do. You want to get into an operational role, then of course you have to deal with multiple people, products. We do have a lot of transformation activities what we do, because we have to try and keep up with the times. So based on that, it is a area which will always have a lot of things going on, right? It's always a lot of activities which are going on. And finance is slightly a quieter area, to be honest, if you're into core finance. But if you are into financial reporting and all, again, that's a different area as well. So it all depends. If you are interested in getting experience into operations along with your financial expertise, you will always benefit. But you have to be aware that that area is going to be very different compared to co-finance. It's going to be area where you have to get into a lot of operational tasks. You have to look at customer complaints. You have to look at making changes to systems, enhancements, streamlining processes. So it's a different ball game compared to a co-finance. Sorry if I've not been able to answer. Please let me know.
Uh,
Sure. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to know if
Hi, good afternoon.
HSBC supports industrial training for CA articles and wealth management, and if yes, then what role at?
See, currently, I'll have to check regarding that. We used to do a bit of internship and all that stuff. We have started, but I wouldn't know currently what we are doing. So we have a HR team who generally kind of, works around all these things. But I can try and get the information and let you know regarding that. What generally we do is that we reach out to colleges in case of campus placement, uh, as in when we do have bulk hiring which is required to be done. So only when we have bulk hiring we reach out for campus placements and everything, because we do kind of hire a lot of freshers who are doing these kind of courses for our roles. But in terms of industrial training, honestly speaking, I have to check and get back, because we don't have industrial training. But we have started some internship in certain areas as a pilot, but I don't have full details regarding that. So in wealth management, currently we are not doing any internship, to clarify, but we do kind of hire from campuses or from outside as and when we need colleagues.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
So, what should be the steps that we should take in order to get into investment banking? And often, most of the time, being an investment banker is like portrayed to be very classy and attractive, especially when we go through the social media and all what we
Right.
see. So, in real life, anywhere like that. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
all.
So yes, real life replicates the real life is what I would say. So if you see it in social media, then to a certain extent it is true. Investment, within the investment banking world, there are different categories, right? So if you are getting into merger and acquisition and all those kind of areas, then of course definitely you will be very successful because you'll be leading huge big projects to get companies, either merger acquisition and all that stuff. So people who are into merger acquisition as part of investment banking world definitely will be doing really well. A lot of people who are into trading as part of the investment banking world, managers and all, they definitely do really well. So it all depends on what area you want to start off. If you want to start off from the entry level, then of course it will take time. You will be successful, no doubt, but it will take a bit of time because you've just started at an entry level, and then you'll have to kind of work hard and grow up the ladder. But if you do a lot of these specialized courses, which I'm sure Christ is offering, then definitely if you'll be able to kind of have a further career advancement. That means you'll start at a maybe a middle management level, and then you'll be able to do better much faster compared to the other people who have just started at an entry level. So there are a lot of options in terms of investment management. It all depends on where you want to start off. You want to start off by just doing your graduation and then climbing up the ladder. In that case, it'll be a slightly long journey. Or you want to do MBA, you want to do CFP, certified financial planning, get into advising customers, you want to do CPA, all those, and then definitely you'll be able to join at a management level. So that way you'll be able to gain some additional benefits as well. Any other questions? Okay, all right. If there is nothing else, then thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure being with Christ. Um, so, my kids have studied in Christ, so it's something which is close to our heart. So, we thank you for the university to kind of invite me and give me this opportunity to interact with you. And Happy New Year, and wish you all the best and success for 2024 and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate your insightful session. I'm confident we've gained invaluable insights and extensive knowledge today. I request Mr. Varun Shukla to remain on stage and please accept a token of our appreciation for your inspirational and wise words. I request Dr. Preetha Biswas to please present our speaker with a memento. I now invite Lakshmi R. Verma from the Department of Psychology to deliver the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my privilege to stand before you and express heartfelt thanks for the incredible session we've had today. We're extremely grateful to our speaker, Mr. Varun Shukla, for enlightening the way to increase our knowledge. We're truly honored to have you with us today, sir. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the seamless functioning of the event, including teachers, management, and the volunteers. Thank you to each and every one of you for being a delightful audience today. Have a wonderful day ahead.